I'd like to ask the sheriff to come forward here. And I was talking to the sheriff about, we just have a new judge now and everything, and I was asking him if we had gotten in place or getting in place the bailiffs or security personnel for the new judgeship, and he said that there was some sort of a problem that we couldn't hire any new personnel. And I asked him why, and he said because he thought some sort of a past law or something, ordinance. So can you explain what you're?
Yes, sir. Actually, it's an ordinance that was passed last year in the 2015 budget. We sent a request for transfer of funds that was approved in the 2016 budgeted position for 2 new court security deputies, and wanting to get placed on February 1st at the next commission meeting. Our response, this is the memo that was sent, response back from Mrs. Walters. So you see the attached budget ordinance in regards to your request to transfer funds. So, did a little searching and found the funding of budgeted new positions will not be available to departments until positions are filled and funding is needed to meet financial obligations for the remainder of the year. The County Human Resources Department shall provide to the County Administrator, Chief Budget Officer, periodic reports showing payroll trends by fund, department, and line. So, essentially the way I read this, I go out and hire someone without any of the funds budgeted for that, which I can't do. I can't do that. I'm not going to hire someone when the funds aren't there. Even though this was approved by the commission for these 2 new positions, as well as 2 other positions in field operations. So I'm a little bit confused.
So Kevin, I guess my question to you is that we have a conflict there. I mean, he can't hire any, might go out for bid or something to hire personnel, and they can't fund it until he hires somebody.
Well, generally speaking, he can hire, any officer can hire individuals within their budget allocation. You know, the budget document specifically identifies individual positions. I think any officer's overall budget allocation for that purpose would still take precedent. But I also understand the reluctance of any office holder who feels that they don't have a budgeted position yet. I guess, if I think I understand the issue, it seems to me that as it's time to hire somebody, would it be appropriate to do a budget revision at the time that it's actually time to fund and hire the individual, fund the position and hire the individual?
Well, you know, we put that in the 2016 budget. It's in the budget. But yet, just past 2015, you know, says they can't, I mean, so we have a conflict here. So can you get with the sheriff to make sure we can get this thing ironed out so we can go forward with this process, because we do have a new judge?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of follow up on that. So is this, just to clarify, Commissioner, is this the dollar placeholder that you're referring to?
I would assume.
Mr. Administrator?
Yeah, I think that's, I can't speak for Commissioner Owen, obviously, but I assume that's what he's referring to, because it was a commission request in the 2016 budget that the dollar placeholder would be put on, it's not just the sheriff, but on all new positions that were requested, and then funds would be allocated as the people are hired.
Is that reflected in our budget? It seems like I've seen some of the positions being generated that did have dollar figures on them relative to the budget last. Is it been uniformly enforced?
Yes, per the Commission's, Laurie Portwood, Assistant County Administrator, Finance and Administrative Services, per the Commission's conversations that we had previously regarding these dollar placeholders. The dollar placeholders were put in for the new positions that were approved by the Commission. The wording in the ordinance refers to that the monies would only be transferred if needed, because there are some departments that have a number of open positions, and therefore the money would not necessarily be needed until maybe close to the end of the year. But there is a dollar placeholder with the specific amount for those positions, and so it has been approved by the Commission, but only as needed.
Mr. Budget Officer, is that apply to all new positions that have been put in the budget? Because like I say, I don't have it in front of me clearly. It's a ponderous document just to kind of thumb through casually, but it seems to me that I had seen some positions that were in fact funded with more than $1 placeholder. Is that correct?
I don't have the budget document in front of me because I didn't know this was going to be discussed today, so.
Me neither.
Yeah, we have to check it out.
I think what we need to do is to check that out, and if there are any exceptions to that particular policy, I think there should be. I would like to know about them. Also, perhaps we need to tweak that to the point to where we get with, in this case, the sheriff's office and find out what his requirements are going to be. I think the idea, if I was, and it was Commissioner Ridgway's thought, which I think was a good one, that was we didn't want to fully fund a position and not have somebody hired until November, and all that money would be kind of in limbo. But perhaps we should consider doing something where we have a very good beat on, or maybe at the time the job is advertised. I don't know exactly what the best way to do that, but that's, I think, a possible solution. However, in the short term, we do need to make sure that the sheriff has sufficient money to bring in a bailiff, and we also need to make sure that we fix the problem. But yes, I would like, Sheriff, if you wouldn't mind getting with the budget officer and then ironing through that, and we'll figure this out one way or the other, because clearly we cannot allow that court to open without a bailiff. And then the other thing is, I don't know off the top of my head, but do you have the date when the court will actually be in session, to where, which is kind of our drop deadline?
I don't have an actual date, but I know his docket is already filling up already.
I'm not surprised. So yes, please get with that as soon as possible.
If I may, Commissioners, my understanding, I was up looking at the courtroom. The courtroom itself is getting very close to completion. It is not completed. I think about 3 weeks is about right. About 3 weeks is about right. Judge Fluke, pains me to say that. He is in Columbia or Jeff City this week in judge training, and then when he comes back, he will be floating through the other courtrooms on his docket because his won't be available. So I am comfortable that until our courtroom is available, he will have the access to other courtrooms and other bailiffs until we're ready for this. So I think we have a little bit of time. We don't want to sit on it, but I think we can get this done within a week.
I appreciate the sheriff bringing that to our attention, because that's an absolute need. There is no wiggle room in that is necessary to have that done. And it might give us the opportunity to revisit the policy and make sure that we tweak it as much as possible. Commissioner Ridgway, did you have something?
Just one question. Do you intend to take it some existing personnel that you already have and put them over as a bailiff, or do you intend to make a new hire completely from the outside?
It could go either which way. It depends. Obviously, we always offer up to our employees that wish to maybe transfer from the jail or another division that would like to work in another division. If there is no one that comes forward, then it'll be, but we will still hire someone to replace that body. If, let's say, someone comes from the jail, we will replace them at that salary.
The other question I have is, could you talk with the presiding judge, Alexander, and talk to him about current allocation of resources with regard to the bailiffs? Because I know just from being over in the Moretti Justice Center that not all courts are holding court all the time.
That's correct.
And as a result, I would like to get his input, or I may visit with him myself, but we need to get his input to find out exactly what the needs are over there, because I know, for example, and pardon me, County Councilor, Honorable Judge Fluke, is not going to be holding court on Mondays, because that will continue to be used as a jury assembly room. So I need a little input from the presiding judge as to what he thinks the allocation of resources are needed, what's required, because we do have to have a bailiff there. I just don't know what they're currently using. So.
Okay. I'll be glad to get with him. And realize, though, there's times like you walk out there this morning, it's very quiet at the courthouse. It is feast or famine over there. I even have members of my command staff on some days. They have so many people and so many sessions going on that they're actually working the x-ray machine. My lieutenant and my captain go down to help. Even my undersheriff does it from time to time. So
I don't see any problem with us working something out with our budget and financial staff to make the funds available contingent upon your determination of whether to bring somebody over that's already an employee or to make a completely new hire. And that way, you know the money's there, just contingent on the details. So we'll work something out.
I think there are three things basically that are coming out of this discussion. One is budget officer needs to get with you as soon as possible and start working through solutions so that we are ready. Secondarily, I think we need to maybe consider revisiting and tweaking the policy that we just referred to. And then thirdly, I would like to know if there are and how many positions do have nobody in them, but they do not have the dollar placeholder, so we can get an idea of how evenly this policy is meant to administer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioners.